let's talk about PlayStation Plus. I think this is a big L. I think this is the hardest L I think I've seen PlayStation put out in a while. Increased pricing for PlayStation Plus 12-month subscriptions. So the old price on, let's just do PlayStation Plus Essential to start. 12-month. $60. Okay? $60 here. It's being increased to $80. So $20 jump there. On the next tier, it's a $40 jump for PlayStation Plus Extra from not 40, I'm sorry, 35. From 100 to 135. And then PlayStation Plus Premium is going from 120 to 160 for the 12-month subscription. Which is
in general,
massive
it's like
price
a 30. Jump. It's a 33% increase. It's like a 1/3 increase.
Yeah.
That is a huge price increase.
This is like,
I don't know when this is going into effect, because I actually got a notification recently that I think my PlayStation Plus is like scheduled to renew in October, and I have Essential, and it gave me the old price. It's still going to be 60 for the, so maybe it's next year. I'm not sure, but
I don't know when this is going.
It's definitely not immediate. It's not immediately.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what is in these tiers anymore. We had like a whole segment before talking about it. We also didn't add in, by the way, speaking of Saints Row, you know the studio Volition?
Oh yeah, they shut down.
They shut down?
Yeah, they shut down.
Anyway, sorry. PlayStation Plus. Keep going.
So the normal PlayStation Plus, or Essential as they're calling it now, is basically what PlayStation Plus used to be, which is just you get the monthly game, the monthly free games, and you can play online, and I think you get like some cloud storage. I think that's it.
That's basically what Xbox Gold was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's $80 a month for that now. Whenever it goes into effect, it'll be $80. Yeah. Okay, $80 for 12 months. Sorry.
The Plus Extra is you get that, and then you get their game catalog.
Mm-hmm.
You get most of the game catalog, and then the premium is you get the retro game catalog as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're gouging the people that want to play like retro PlayStation.
That want their catalog and want their retro games. They're really pushing the price up. So, yeah, 33% increase across the board.
Yeah, I've actually looked at the extra tier, and like their catalog's pretty decent actually. I think that one's actually like obviously like 135 is pretty expensive, but like the catalog's like pretty decent, and like let's not forget Game Pass Ultimate's like 160 for a year or something like that.
I believe cheap. Per quarter it's $40 to $45 because it's $15 a month for Ultimate.
Yeah.
So that means that you're looking at
it's
180.
I guess that's 180 for the year, which is pretty expensive.
It is.
So.
It is. You get, and that does bundle in their old game catalog with new releases. So the big thing is new releases. That's the additional value that PlayStation doesn't have baked in.
They don't give
Starfield Day One is a Game Pass game for Game Pass users. So
so is Sea of Stars, and they're keeping like Persona. Like I talked about it last week when we talked about Persona, but like Persona 5 Tactica, which is the tactics game coming out this fall, and then Persona 3 Reload are both going to be Day One Game Pass as well.
So that's the reason why it's $20 extra. Yeah. That's the reason why, is you get Starfield Day One, you get all this stuff Day One. That's the reason why it's more expensive.
Any of their first party stuff you're going to get Day One, or their affiliated studios, which are basically, they're not quite first party,
right?
Second party, I guess. Like
you'll get those too. So it's the reason why it's more expensive. So I can understand that. I can understand why it's more expensive. Actually, before it wasn't $20 more expensive. If we're looking at the old way, it was $60 more expensive. Which, depending on who you talk to, maybe that is a good argument to say, hey, I'm getting new releases, so I'm okay paying the extra $60. Well, now you're only paying an extra $20 compared to PlayStation, because PlayStation increased the price, and this is a lot.
Yeah,
I complain when Netflix increases the price $1. I complain when they increase it $1 over the course of a month to month, so $12 per year. This is like a huge increase. A little bit surprised.
Yeah, I think it's I think if they would have done half of this, then maybe that would have been more reasonable. They did like $10 for essential, and then like whatever, like 15 for the extra, and then 20 for premium or whatever. Like
definitely a different reception coming from me.
But no, it's 20, 35, and
40.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, not a small number. Not at all. I'm a little bit surprised, but I think, yeah, I think PlayStation wants to make money from this. Yeah, I think Microsoft is like, I think they treat Game Pass a little bit differently. I think Game Pass obviously needs to make money.
Yeah, because PlayStation wants you to pay for this and then still buy all of
their games,
their exclusives, right? Which are gonna they're gonna be $70.
They're gonna be $70 on PlayStation.
Whereas
5.
Microsoft is just like, yeah, just buy Game Pass and you're good, right?
Just buy Game Pass. That's all they really want. They just want you to buy Game Pass. That's about it. They want the recurring stream of revenue consistently. Yep. They want the consistent.
PlayStation's trying to like double. They're trying to double dip.
They're trying to double down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously you shouldn't like price increases anyway, but I don't like this one in particular because it's so much.
It's a lot. I definitely, people are not happy about this. I definitely heard at least a few people saying like, yeah, I'm canceling PlayStation Plus now. This is too much. Like,
yeah, at some point it becomes the value doesn't align.
Doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up for you, yeah. Especially if you're just like let's just take the case of a player that just plays, like, again, maybe just plays online games. They don't really care about the retro stuff. They just want to play new and online games. Yeah. $100 is pretty reasonable, I think, for the just regular newer game catalog and having the access to online. Now you're asking them to pay $135 per year, which, as you said, that's an increase of $35.
Yeah, that's 35 for that. Like, that one actually technically got the biggest price increase. That
went
up 35%, whereas the others were like 33%, right? So,
and if you look at it month to month, that increased by, I guess, $3 a month. If you look at it, almost $3 a month if you look at it that way.
Sure.
That's pretty significant. Like I said, I complain when Netflix goes up $1. So, that's significant. That's a significant change. So that's definitely, I could see people being like, hey,
that's
it's a little steep. You're asking a lot. You're asking a lot of me now. I'm not sure I see the value in it anymore because I play only really 2 games in your catalog a year. I'm not seeing the $135 there because I only play a couple games from your catalog a year. It used to make sense, but now why wouldn't I just buy those games on discount somewhere like Amazon? Why wouldn't I just buy those on Amazon now for like $20?
Yeah.
So that's where the value gets lost.
Yeah. We'll see if I doubt they will, because Sony doesn't do this very often, but we'll see if they backpedal at all on this
I'd be interested
after the backlash, but yeah. I kind of doubt they will. I don't remember Sony kind of really ever doing that.
Maybe rarely.
It's pretty rare. Sony's a little bit like Nintendo, where like they make great games and like their console's good, they make great games.
Yep.
But like their consumer practices are like pretty shitty. I'm not sure they're quite as bad as Nintendo, but they're not very consumer friendly. They don't communicate very well with their consumers. Like you rarely see them, like a higher up at Sony, like at a press conference or like talking to the player, like, whereas like Phil Spencer, like that guy is freaking everywhere. Like you always see Phil Spencer. Like
I don't know if this is out of my breadth, but could be a cultural thing. Could be any number of reasons. Cultural being like Nintendo, Sony, Japanese companies. Microsoft is an American company. Maybe it's just a different culture to how you interact with your communities. Microsoft trying to be a little bit more hip, I guess. I don't know. Like companies it's weird. Companies are trying to they always try and shift to what people want and expect, and like Xbox is trying to shift in a way that feels more player friendly. They're like trying to be transparent and visible with players, and Xbox has their own problems. But I've never known, like, Nintendo does directs, which is the transparency. That's what you get for transparency.
Yeah, they do directs, and they do actually have their at least some of their like big wigs like present in the directs,
Yep.
like a little bit. They're
A little
part of the presentation. Sony's directs are just like a voice from the void talking to you and
Correct.
just talking about games. Like,
I mean, it's just,
you know,
Sony and Nintendo, you know, they are, again, maybe it's just like culturally speaking, they don't see that as something they should be doing. They're like, oh no, we don't want to mingle with the players.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That we have other people positions for that in the company to talk to the player and communicate with the player. Phil is a high up on the Xbox division, and he communicates on all the, you know.
Well, he's like the head of Xbox.
He's the head of Xbox, right? Yeah. So, but he does more visible communication. He does more interaction with like various talk. You know, he's been on people's podcast shows. He's done stuff. Particularly when Redfall came out, he within the same, you know, like a week or so, he came on to somebody's I don't remember if it was podcast, and he was just like, yeah, he was pretty clear. He's like, yeah, we should have jumped into that game's development early. That was a mistake.
We messed up with
that. Was a bad one. So I mean, he's pretty out there with his, and also when he messes up, he's pretty clear about when they mess up, which is good and bad.
Yeah, I don't know. But Phil, like, I don't know. Phil, I like, obviously Microsoft's taken some L's here and there, but I really like Phil Spencer. He's really relatable. He seems like he's a gamer and he actually plays games. He communicates well with the players. Like, I don't know, like, I really like Phil Spencer. Like, he's a very likable guy, and
he doesn't feel like a suit.
You know,
when I see
like a suit.
When I see Sony people, I always think they're always in suits.
Yeah.
And Nintendo Directs, it's kind of the same way.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I could like hang out and have a beer with Phil Spencer, right? Like, he's a super chill dude.
To be clear, I'm sure some of those Nintendo execs that are on those directs, I'm sure they're super chill. They're very relaxed.
Yeah,
they're very relaxed. I mean, they're making all these like crazy games, like,
but they don't come across.
But they don't come across that way necessarily to you when you visually see those presentations. Yeah.
But the only person for a Nintendo who ever felt that way to me was like Reggie. Reggie was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Sony doesn't have that. Sony doesn't have a relatable face. They don't. They have like,
they don't have a face at all right now. Like, I don't remember the last time I saw anyone from Sony,
and that's
like, stand up on a stage or be in one of their like presentations.
And again, I don't know. It could just be how they handle, you know, how they are conducting their business, very behind the curtain. Sony does things very differently. They're very different. They're very aggressive with their first parties stuff. Like, you gotta be a certain quality level. Gotta hit certain numbers. Days Gone, I'm looking at you. You didn't hit it. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
The Days Gone person's like, no, we did such a great job. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you didn't. You didn't hit the numbers. You were a 7 out of 10. You didn't hit 8.5. Get out of here.
Get out. We're not
greenlighting
another one.
We're not bringing that back. We already had Last of Us anyway. We don't need Last of Us, like blue ribbon Last of Us.
Yeah.
That's just, they're very aggressive on that. Nintendo's also very like enclosed on their first party stuff too. They're like, nobody touches our first party stuff but us.
No.
That's ours. Microsoft needs to figure out their first party games. That's their problem. Their problem is their first party games are not figured out. They're all over the place. They'll maybe get one good one, and then they'll have
one bad one.
And then they'll have some average ones, and then they'll just have a horrible one.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
it's like they bought I feel like, you know, in the last like 5, 6, 7 years, we had all these stories about Microsoft buying up all these studios, and like, we just haven't like, I know there was COVID in there that probably delayed some of them, but like we just haven't seen much from a lot of those yet. Like you had Outer Worlds from Obsidian, which was pretty good. People were
that was a good game. That was a good game,
but it wasn't like incredible from what I saw. It was like pretty good.
It was a good game. That was a good game. So that's a good game.
Starfield feels like the first big hitter
that was a hitter
in quite a long time, because like Halo
hit on release, and that was about it.
Sales wise, it was like really good and people loved it on release, but man, like when you talk about a live service, that game died so fast.
No, Halo hit on release and died immediately, and that was and Microsoft has to own that. They really screwed that up. I think that was a bad one for them. I think they're really regretting the handling of that too.
Yeah.
Especially since Halo's the flagship. Halo is supposed to be the face of the brand.
Like 343 just seems to me like it's just like a dog shit company, to be honest. Like, and I don't know if it's Microsoft or 343 or both, but like
I just think they need to hand the keys to somebody else. Frankly, what they should have been doing is just somehow begging Bungie to come back. Should have just been begging them.
And the Redfall was a big L.
Redfall was a huge L. That was a disaster. That absolute disaster for the amount they promoted that game. If they didn't promote that game at all, that's one thing. They promoted that game a lot.
Oh yeah, they promoted it as like a big Xbox release. They're like, all right, this is one of the big ones. It closed one of their shows, and then I think it like opened or closed or was like headlined at a couple other ones.
Yep.
Right. So
definitely a huge L. So we're just talking about Microsoft. All these companies, just how they take their L's at this point. Nintendo's big one is how they handle their community stuff in general. Like with video content,
they're horrible.
Organizers of like their competitive events, things like that, like competitive. They're horrible with their competitive.
And like modding, obviously, they just don't allow it. They just sue your.
They're like, oh, did you try and mod something? We'll kill you. What? We're gonna kill you? Well, don't you mean just like give me a cease and desist? No, I'll just kill you.
No, yeah,
we'll just kill you. How dare you? We got one more thing, by the way. Humankind here.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
6 new cultures, 6 new wonders, 7 independent peoples, 15 narrative events. Pre-order now. With cultures of Oceania.
Yep.
We're getting all the various cultures in here. Hawaiians. New Zealanders. Pretty cool. I'm glad that this game had this come out. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I forgot about this game too. In the sense that I haven't heard anything in a really long time.
They've been patching it like every few months. They'll have a big patch usually. Like they've been changing. I haven't played it in quite a while. I still have it. I haven't installed. I just haven't played it in quite a while.
Yeah. This game really.
They had an expansion, like a major expansion they had a culture pack and then a major expansion last year, and now they have another culture. They have another culture pack here. Remember these culture packs? They're pretty cheap. The base price is $9. Yeah. It's 10% off on pre-order, so it's $8.
Yep.
Or $8.10.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like, I'm glad they're continuing to support the game. I'd be very curious to see their Steam numbers at this point, though.
I don't think they're good. I really don't.
I'm looking at the Steam charts now because I want to know. Okay. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Thought it'd be worse.
Yeah, I did too.
Here's the charts. So, let's just look at the last couple months. Here's an increase in April and May. When that DLC come out?
I thought it came out last year, like in November or something, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe October, because I see a big increase here. There must have been something that happened here. There was a really big jump here.
The Parabellum Wonders pack came out April 26th.
That's what this is.
So they added a bunch of new wonders to the game.
These numbers
Together We Rule, which was the big expansion, was November 9th last year.
Huh.
Which they actually didn't get a big jump in November. They got a
big jump in October. People trying to jump back in. I'll be honest with you on these Steam charts. I actually don't think they're horrible.
They're not. Yeah, you're holding like, you know, high hundreds to around 1,000 like most months, which is like, it's not that bad.
I am a little bit nervous that here, outside of big updates, it's pretty consistently hit 800.
Yeah.
It looks like it has been somewhat. Okay, this is let's just do 3 months. So here, it has been consistently dropping, ever so gently. I don't know. Humankind is an interesting game. I do wonder how long they're going to continue to support it, but I am glad they're continuing to put out content for it.
I'm also wondering if they're working on like another like new project behind the scenes. If it's like a Humankind 2 or like Endless Legend 2 or another Endless Space or maybe something entirely different.
Yeah.
We'll see what they're you know, they haven't announced anything yet, but
And then my last comment is, so the game released here. We got a culture pack, I think
2 years ago.
in January. That must be when the culture pack came out. And then from January...
The first culture pack was June 9th, 2022.
Okay. I don't know why it jumped in January. So
they probably had a big they probably had a major patch.
Yeah.
They probably had a major patch,
so
which they've been doing.
Here's how much space was in between that update. Then you said the DLC came out in November.
Yeah,
so there was a couple months.
June 9th, and then I think it was November 9th, and then November 9th. Yeah.
So this isn't that bad of like a space, but think about like since DLC came out to next update has been a lot of space. This is my worry. It's like if you don't, it seems like nowadays, and this is just I think generally true, if you're not putting updates out every like 2 months, your game is going to just drop really hard.
I mean, there's always like new games coming out.
Exactly.
Well,
so I feel like there must be another project going on, and the team is small. It must be a small team.
I mean, they're not a huge studio in general, I don't think, but yeah. Yeah, I wonder if they're working on like a new game, I would love, like, I liked a lot of the ideas in Humankind. I think they kind of missed on the execution. Like, I liked the game in general when it came out, but it was pretty buggy, and the performance wasn't great, and it just wasn't balanced.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to see what they can do with like a Humankind 2, honestly, just like a reset on it.